because not only did he save my ass today because I had no guests and I really was too tired to talk for a full hour on my own about just Major League Baseball, I'm bringing on the guy that has told me to, like, people like elevate you in your career and tell you, like, they're not afraid to tell you how to like do things better and be better. That's this guy, and he makes me better. So let's bring him on, because I told you guys yesterday on the show, all we do is bring on great guests who elevate us. His name is Martino Puccio, and he is a soccer handicapper, the number one that I only trust in this world. What's going on, Martino?
Ariel, thank you so much for the kind words. Very happy to reunite with you. And it's been years since we've done anything in terms of like live like this, but yes, of course, I'm very happy that you did decide to get on TikTok because, yeah, I know it's for a
It's
younger-ish
hard.
crowd. It is hard. It is annoying, but you're too talented not to be on there. So yeah, I will always badger and bother people if I think they need to be doing something, even if they don't ask for it. So
That's okay.
happy to be
That's
on.
what I love. I feel like people are too afraid to speak up for what needs to happen to help people get better. And that's what I really hope for everybody who tries to do better in their careers and their
Mm.
life. We always need good friends like that. I asked you earlier today, I said, can you please explain to me what the hell is going on in soccer? I don't know anything about what's going on. So for the people that want action but may not understand all the different things we're seeing up on the
Yeah.
board, what are the different soccer tournaments going on?
So there's two main ones currently happening in this country of the United States that you weren't even aware of. I guess I don't know. Did you think that the actual World Cup was happening, or you just saw?
No, I know the World Cup's not till next
Okay,
year
okay. Well,
because it's here.
that's a
So I
plus.
know to
That's a
prepare
that's
to
a
never
plus
take the
then.
train that like those that like what 2 months in the summer.
Yeah. So there are two different tournaments. One of them is international, which is the Gold Cup. Those are obviously represented with countries. And then there's the Club World Cup, sponsored by FIFA. That is the international tournament. So those are teams from all the top regions around the world. So all your club teams, your Inter Miami's in it with Messi, and then your top European teams like Real Madrid and Manchester City, just for some more of the casual watchers. So those teams are playing in one tournament while the Gold Cup is going on, where the USA is involved, even though it's not the best USA players. There's so much to it, and there's so much drama around it. So you tell me what you want to get into first.
Let's talk about what you actually like, because I know that we have a few things on the card, and one of the plays
Yeah.
that you had was Canada plus 450. Why?
Yeah, that's the future for the Gold Cup. There aren't that many strong teams within this tournament. It's usually the same three that do win it: USA, Canada, Mexico. So I guess I'll go through the two favorite teams before Canada. Canada's the third. So with Mexico, they've been struggling in recent years. This is definitely one of their better teams that they fielded in an international tournament, Nations League, qualifiers, Gold Cup. So I understand why they're the favorite, but at plus 170, that's never really kind of anything I want to place on unless you know it's a shoe-in. That's something I did with the Thunder in the NBA. I had them at plus 110 during the Denver series. At that point, it just felt like they were the best, and there's no one else worth taking. With this tournament, I feel completely different. USA at plus 200. They're really not talented. There's a lot of controversy going around with this team right now. And truth be told, Canada pretty much has everyone outside of Alphonso Davies, who is the best player in the region. But even then, it doesn't matter. They're completely loaded with talent. I think they have the best manager as well in Jesse Marsh, who is American, by the way, someone that the U.S. probably should have hired at that point in time. But he went off to take on the Canada job, and he's done great. And this is the best generation of Canadian players. And we've seen they've been catching up in plenty of sports. They're great in basketball, too. So this isn't something to catch anybody off guard. I think top to bottom, they have the most talent. They've played together for quite some time on top of their manager. And at plus 450, I don't understand why the number is the way it is there. There is always those potential matchups of what team finishes in what part of the group and will they face earlier on in like a quarterfinal or a semifinal prior to the final actually happening. And that could change odds drastically. But as a whole, after seeing what they did last night, they won 6-0 against Honduras. Plus 450 is a really good number. And that's really why I like them. It could go either way. I don't understand the USA number. I think that's also, you have to remember a lot of the times in these public books over here in the States, the way odds are listed for this sport really go into public favoritism. And you know all about fading the public when it comes to plenty of this stuff. I mean, Pickett lists those odds all the time on, or the percentages of who's leaning what way and what does the public bet. Don't always listen to them. So I think this is one of those tournaments that you want to back away from it. So that's why I like Canada at that number.
Sean Michael has an interesting question. He said, how come the women have been so elite, but the men are so bad?
So I think it's a great question. I think it's all about how things started and where they started comparatively across the world. A lot of other countries around the world don't kind of give that sort of access to women. You're seeing it develop rapidly within Europe and other countries that they've been so good at it. It's becoming very prominent in Europe as well, like the club level. I think the women over here, it started off so great, and it's not kind of something that you get called soft and a loser if you're a guy growing up playing soccer here, because the main sport is football and it happens around the same time. So I think a lot of people shy away from that. The expense of it all. I grew up in Westchester. It's not necessarily people are broke for cash over here. So they even find it too expensive to play club football or soccer, sorry, where you don't get the right people playing. And that means all people. So when that kind of, you're hindering and blocking off a large majority of the population, and it is a lot of nepotism and who you know and what you know rather than how good you are, like we kind of do in a lot of other sports. Like, you're a great public middle school player in football. You can go to Don Bosco, you go to all these other great high schools where they give you an opportunity. It's not the same structure over here. You're probably better off playing at the youth level, where they give people opportunities at age 16, age 17, even 15 in some countries. You're playing immediately. Over here, our programs are like, yeah, wait till you're 18. 18 is a lot of professionals. Arguably the best player in the world right now is 17 years old in Lamine Yamal. So it's a big structure thing, and this is America. Like, welcome to this juggernaut of money that is the only thing that matters. If you don't have money, the path for you to be successful in this sport is a lot harder.
Well, I messed up already on this segment. Like, surprise, surprise. It's 9:15 p.m. game tomorrow, not a.m., so I don't have morning action, which is very sad. But I'm still fine with it. USA and Saudi Arabia are in action tomorrow. I'm really bad. CONCACAF Gold Cup plus 500. I'm assuming is Saudi Arabia. USA minus 185. Draws plus 280. Thoughts on this match?
Yeah, this one is a little tough. Saudi Arabia does have experience and definitely does have some pedigree. They beat Argentina in the last World Cup, regardless of it matters. If Argentina did end up winning it, it was a huge upset. It was one of the bigger group stage upsets in history. Hervé Renard was their manager at the time, so he's not managing them anymore. He's moved on. Saudi Arabia has also had some controversy. Roberto Mancini, who used to manage Italy, he quit in the middle of a match at one point. They're talented. They're pretty good. Plus 500 is a huge number. I don't think that is something some people should shy away from, especially if they don't love Team USA. I'm staying away from the money line completely. Minus 185 is really not worth it in a sport that can end in a draw, especially during regulation, because these players are not great. So your opportunities to score are few and far between a lot of the time. And if that's the case, then these guys are not great at finishing. If they get 2 chances per match, right? Then they miss those, and then you're looking at a draw all of a sudden, and you wagered on something that just moved to minus 190 now. So it's not really worth placing, in my opinion. So I always like looking at player props or totals. And the good thing about this is FanDuel has a no sweat bet with this. It's minus 200 or longer that you could place on this. I like Malik Tillman score or assist. It's something I think you already showed up at plus 120. Again, this is their best player at this moment in time. He's able to score and create. Obviously, that plays into the prop itself. And at plus 120, it's a good number, especially if you're able to bet that at a no sweat. So there's minimal risk involved in that. And other things regarding the total, it's set at 2.5. That's kind of iffy. Do you think there's going to be a lot of chances created? If you think there's going to be a lot of back and forth end to end, then it's worth taking the over. If you think it's going to be a little bit more cagey, limited chances, then just take the under with it. These aren't prolific scorers on either side, but they're also not great defensively. I know that's kind of tiptoeing in that gray area and playing devil's advocate, but for me, I'd rather just stick with player props in a match like this, because it's not really worth placing anything money line wise. And again, total is always iffy for me. 2.5. That I leave that up to the bettor's discretion. But for me, Malik Tillman's probably my favorite with the prop.
Hey, we love props, but I have to go back because I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Someone quit in the middle of a match like Antonio Brown style?
Antonio Brown style. Who is the other cornerback? Avante Davis, rest in peace. But he was one who did, I think he retired at halftime with the Bills. Um, but yeah, he left in the middle. It was like a penalty shootout. He just like walked out. He went into the tunnel. So yeah, imagine like I don't know. John would never do it, but John Harbaugh leaving in a 2-minute warning in like a playoff game and just saying that's it. I'm done here. I'm not coaching again. That's basically what happened there with Roberto Mancini. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I am so out of the loop of this sport because I feel like that's something I should have definitely heard before, but that's pretty crazy.
Hey, I mean, this sport is insane in general. I've seen players choke out other players and managers fighting assistant referees and getting red cards. It's all insane. They're completely unhinged. I mean, the drama surrounding U.S. men's national team is literally players' parents beefing with former players. Like, imagine, I don't know, well, literally, we've seen it in the NBA, Tyrese Halliburton's dad going at Giannis, but imagine him going at Shaq instead and beefing just because the way Shaq might have not liked the way Tyrese carried himself. And Mr. Halliburton comes out and starts beefing with him and posting on Instagram about how much of a child he is and this and that. And it's all crazy. They're all very immature people, but it's a lot of fun to watch.
Sean Michael asked if you like any MLS underdogs this week.
Call me a bad American, call me whatever you want. I do not bet MLS. I barely watch MLS. And it's also more difficult anyways at this point in time because players are leaving to go play internationally. A lot of these players are MLS players that would be playing in Gold Cup because a lot of talented players from all these countries in the region do end up playing for them. I don't have strong takes on it. Sometimes I bet Inter Miami matches just because Messi's involved in there and there's always a lot of goals, but I stay off of MLS, so I apologize to that. My groove is more so international and European.
Okay, I'll take it. Are you going to probably spend $1 million to go to the World Cup next year?
No. One, it looks like Italy's going to be missing for a third straight time, which is insane. It's literally unheard of. It's like if the Yankees didn't make the playoffs for like 20 years. It's nuts. And no, Team USA is terrible. All this money for me, soccer is very enjoyable to go watch in person. But much like football, unless the match is so like, it's not worth me going to watch the Jets at MetLife. It's not going to be worth that for I don't know how long. For you, it's always worth to go watch the Ravens. It's a great franchise. I know they haven't won the big one. I get that. Blah blah blah. Please, cry me a river. I'm a Jets fan, but the point is, I'm not spending all this money when it's going to be packed in so many different places, traveling to other places to go and watch a team that, quite frankly, men's team doesn't seem like they care.
It's so sad that we have the chance to host finally like something so massive and our team sucks.
Yes, and I don't. It's not just that they suck; they're dramatic and they suck. That I think that's worse. I also don't love the finals at MetLife. I think a lot of people aren't ready for the chaos that is. Like I've been to a Lions and Jets game, and it took an hour and a half to get out of the parking lot. So I just hope people understand what they're getting into. But no, maybe if I got credentialed, then I'd go. But I am not paying money out of pocket to go watch any of these teams.
Our sports betting researcher on the show, Jessica Brand, she likes Spain for World Cup. And what else did you say, Jessica? And she also likes PSG futures. Anything you think about those?
Yeah, PSG, I mean, they're unbelievable. They won the Champions League. For those who don't know, it was 5-0. It was the biggest victory of all time. Probably the biggest letdown championship game that I've seen since Broncos Seahawks. That was by far the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen. Completely one-sided. This one was great because they beat my rivals team in Inter Milan. PSG to win that, I think they're still grooving. They're playing at a high level. Some of these teams have stopped playing for a little bit. Manchester City and some of these other clubs, they're very thin. So I could definitely see PSG winning this one on top of it. In Spain, if you just want me to hop into that one too,
yeah.
They're easily still playing some of the best in the world. Lamine Yamal, this kid, like Ariel, this kid is literally 17. He might be the best player in the world. He's 17 years old, and he's been playing this way since he's been 16. He's arguably the best teenager in sports history. He's up there probably since Pele there hasn't been someone this good at that age. And I would say definitely no one since LeBron at a teenage level on a professional scale. Because we don't really see that in Major League Baseball. We've seen Soto, we've seen Bryce Harper. The best player in baseball right now didn't get up till he was 25 in Judge. So
Right.
it's insane to just think about it because our 17-year-olds over here are still in high school. But I'm
They
pretty sure
still have to pay
your
their
brother's
dues
still in
over
high school.
here.
Your brother's still in high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So imagine your brother is the best player in the world in a sport, and probably the most popular sport at that. It's insane. So, he can only get better. Is the point I was going to get at? And so the sky's the limit with them, and they have other very really talented players. Placing it now, it's not bad, but we're still a year out. So we don't really know what's going to happen, who's going to qualify, who's not going to qualify. It's also an expanded format. There's more teams now in this World Cup than there's ever been before. So the way the groups will break down and there's more knockout games, there could be a little bit more variety there, but we'll see. I think the deeper countries will have more success in this tournament next year.
Andy says finding a way to sneak a shot at Inter. Love it.
Shout out to Andy. He's a great follow and friend on Twitter. So yes, always have to get a shot in there. Like I'm sure you would take a shot at the Steelers if you had a chance to. So
hey, listen, I have no problem with betting on my enemies because if they win, and then I'll just be happy in some sort of capacity. It's fine, especially when
absolutely,
your
yeah.
team pisses you off so much.
I do that all the time. I bet on I used to bet on the Pats more often. These days the Mets are actually respectable.
At this rate, as a Jets fan, you just don't feel anymore.
I don't. For about half a decade now, Red Zone is up on the main screen. The Jets are on the small screen. Outside of Monday Night Football, when Rodgers blew out his Achilles, that's the only time I can remember I was excited to watch a game, and since I was in high school. So, yeah, they're a totally different animal when it comes to that. Yeah.
Sad life. Martino Puccio, what are you up to these days? Where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, still find me on Twitter everywhere at Martino Puccio, TikTok as well. I don't post as much on my main one. I do a lot of stuff regarding AC Milan. I write for Sports Illustrated about the Metsies. So if you're interested in reading any stuff like that, unless you are still a Sours Grape Yankees fan, there are a few out there. Not everyone is. My whole family's Yankees fans, so don't worry. I come in peace. But yeah, you could just go and follow me everywhere at Martino Puccio. There aren't too many people with that name, so be sure to find me Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok.